Cool. I think we'll start on. I'm just sharing up. Uh, so just wanted to know from everyone, and like quickly open up your mic and say, what do you understand by product discovery? Like any one liner or any one word. Like what do you understand by product discovery itself? Anyone?
The process of identifying the right product for the customers and which also uh, is business friendly.
Okay. Right product for customer, and which also correlates with, let's say, the business outcomes. Anyone else? Anyone want to give it a try? Give it a try. Like it's like a brainstorming session. It's like a two-way. I'm not going to teach you much because you already know a little bit around it. You already have that sense. It just you have to explore that part. So come on, guys. Anything. It should. That is fine. Like if you are wrong, right? That is fine.
I think we have identified the problem, we know the solution, and now we are building a solution like how customer will react using our application and what are those features that one has to include so that it can be used by customers.
Okay. Okay. Same on the same lines. Okay. Sunit is saying finding and validating. Okay. So usually this is more than what people think, right? So I'll just give you a overview on the product discovery piece, right? As we said, like 90 to 95% times you should think about the problem, and then 5 to 10% of the time you'll be thinking around solutions. But the bigger picture here is you have to also understand, like you have to put your customer in the center. Then there is business around it, what actually business wants, and then there is something called as market fit. Okay. If your problem, your customer's problem also aligns with the business outcome, and whatever you're trying to build is also aligning with the product market fit, for example, that makes more sense to build. Okay. So product discovery is figuring out stage, right? And the product delivery is mostly what you are going to build. So one stage is figuring out, and another stage is what you actually want to build. Okay. So if I have to put it in a better sense, your product discovery, called as PD, is deciding what to build, and that build will only come from your business outcome, what they actually want, what are the desired outcomes, and how does it fit into your customer need. And basis that, does it really make sense to put it out there in the market? What if someone has already solved for it? What if you're not doing something unique? So does it really make sense or not? So that's where your product delivery comes into the play, which is called as, mostly what you're trying to do is you have to build it. Okay. Are you getting my point? Like product discovery is you have to have the sense what customer needs, what market needs, and what are the business outcomes. These are the three major aspects of uh, for any product discovery. Okay. And if you have to put your customer at the center, and you have to like start figuring out what you want to build next, because it's an iterative process. Product is an iterative process. So if you put your customer at the center, there will be a lot of things which you'll be doing continuously. which would be, let's say, customer interviews, right? You'll be talking to your customers, qualitative, maybe a quantitative research, which you'll be doing and trying to figure out what they want. Then there will be some validations. Let's say you have built something and you still want to get responses from the customers, how they are reacting to your product. That is called as A/B test. Then there will be a lot of assumptions you might have made. Okay. So we say that, okay, what if we try to build this and maybe this will solve this problem, and then you do experiments on that. You made some assumptions. Based on those assumptions, let's say you have tried A/B testing. So with A/B, you are validating your assumptions. Okay. Then you also try to talk to your customers and then figure out, okay, this is what actually customers want. Okay. Then there is something called as customer journey mapping, which everyone has heard of. Customer journey mapping is nothing but you put yourself, like you try to look at the product from the customer's lens and try to go from, let's say, sign up to the end journey. And throughout that journey, whatever pain points were there for any user, you try to build on it. And that's how also, you try to figure out what next you want to build. That's how you discover about products. So all these methods are discovering what to build next. Okay. And this build next thing has to always align to your business outcomes, their customer needs, and product market fit, right? Because you have to always compete also, right? So these three are the pillars of any product discovery, is what I feel. So this is the modern day product discovery piece which I'm trying to tell you. Then if you also look at, let's say, a lot of people will talk about impact mapping. This is also another method. If you really want to build any product, it has to make some impact. Okay. And this impact could be of two types. It could be product level impact and it could be a business level impact. Okay. But whenever you are doing product piece, you have to think of both. It is always a plus. Product plus business. You can't always think about product. Let's say my product metric is to bring more signups on my platform. But does it also imply that more signups I get, more business I get? No, right? I don't know what is going to happen down the funnel for my user. There might be other problems in the funnel. So the product metrics are different, the business metrics are different. But the impact you want to track is majorly on the product plus business metric. Okay. So that is one method. Then you also have heard about JTBD framework, right? Jobs to be done. These are just common frameworks wherein all these product leaders have tried to build some concepts around it, and they said this is how you try to figure out what the problem is, what the customer need. So job to be done is, everyone must have heard about a simple example that why do you use brush? So everyone is like, I want to, like, what do you say, clean my teeth every day. So, but is that the only reason that you use toothbrush? No, right? There should not be any cavity in your teeth. There should not be any gum related diseases as well, right? So these are the problems at core which you are trying to solve. So the job to be done is to keep your teeth healthy, not to always keep it clean. It could be either or, right? So this is how you try to figure out what is that job to be done for any consumer. Even the physical products are built on this concept. The core concept for any product, be it physical, be it virtual, digital, it is based on this concept which I'm trying to tell you. And this is really important. And more deeper we get now, you will find it more interesting. Okay. And it is just not, doing everything just, doing A/B tests, not just digitally. You can also do customer visits and try to meet them physically. Why? Because ethnic, demographic, variety of the consumers which will be using your product will be very different, and this gives you more insights on it. So I work in a fintech company, and I always wondered how our TG looks like, and why does localization is very important for us. So when we do video KYC, so I look after the KYC pieces, and then when we were doing video KYCs, and I used to look at the people who were coming on to completing the video KYC. Most of them were in the shops, at work, doing something, or maybe at a very remote place where the internet is not really working. So how your customers looks like will give you more feeling of you know what sort of product features you want to build in. Does localization will help in terms of improving your funnel? For us, let's say everyone is not habitual with speaking Hindi or English. Most of our, let's say, consumers are from Karnataka and they speak Kannada. So we should have Kannada agents who will be taking the video KYCs. Okay, so we have to, then again you will be looking at the data, trying to figure out, okay, this is what we need based on so many drop offs, and based on how they look, how what do you say, which demographics they are coming in from. So basis that you also try to build on some features, and these are the opportunities for you which you try to figure out in any product. And these are the these features will be built on incrementally every single time, every single day. Okay, so this is one. Then we try to talk about uh, how these things are delivered. Okay, when you talk about the project and the product piece, so there are two things to it. Okay, one is project, one is product. Project will have a start time, will have an end time. Okay, but product is always, let's say, iterative. It goes and keeps going on. Okay, did, like, if you think about Instagram, if it would have been a project, you know it would have been just like start to end, someone would have delivered and everyone must have been using it. No, right? It's a product, and product is an iterative process. Okay, so for me, so what is, if someone asks me like what is product, for me product has three things. Okay, you have to iterate, you have to improve, and you have to improvise. There are three things to it. This is what I feel. I might be wrong, but for me it is like I have to iterate, I have to improve, and sometimes I have to improvise on it. And that's how best products are built. If you miss on to any one of this, let's say you're iterating, but you're not improving, does it help? No. Someday you're improving, but you're not improvising. Sometimes when you improvise, you might tap into a new landscape for any product, for that matter. Okay, you might bring in new opportunities into the business. So iterate, improvise, improve. These three things are pretty important. Yes, Harshil.
No, I couldn't understand the difference between improve and improvise.
So improvise, if you have to talk about like how do I look at, let's say I tell you you have to run from point A to point B, okay, in 10 seconds, but you were not able to do it. You were always putting it at, let's say, in 7 minutes you were able to do from point A to point B. I said you have to improve, and then you try to put it very hard, and then you were able to do it in, let's say, 8 minutes. But what if you improvise in terms of you use some hack, and maybe you use some better running shoes, something like that, right? So improve is at core, you're trying to motivate yourself and trying to build something on it. But someday you try to improvise, like what if I run inclined, or maybe what if I run with a better shoes, with less clothes, I don't know. How do you improve? Like improve, and little bit of improvisation would help you try to build little better products, is what I mean, right? So like it's like adding a flavor to it, which brings in, I don't know, better output in terms of that. I don't know how to put it in words, but point is, it's something little extra which you do, which is uh, helping you get better outcomes. Okay,
Okay.
I think the presentation stopped. So I think I was just, if I have to put another example to it, I was just watching a reel from a Kia car, and if you remember, like beside the driver's seat, there is handrest, and there will be a box also. Like if you open it, there will be a container box, and in that flip, there was a freshener which was kept. Okay, so everyone thinks that a freshener can be put on a AC vent, and that is how the freshener for any car would work, like, right? But in that reel, when someone, like, if you open that flap, and you will find a cartridge which is fixed there, and it somehow works with maybe the rare AC vents and the room fresheners. The the what do you say, the car freshener works. So this is an improvisation which they did. Let's say your key metric was to improve the room freshness, car freshness, but then you little bit improvise into it, and now you can see a cartridge in that flap, which no one ever imagined. So this is what a little improvisation into what you actually are trying to build. Usme thoda sa, if you do some better product, like it's a product discovery for someone now. Maybe more cars will be trying to put this thing into it, right? Cool. So, so product is an iterative process. You have to always improve it by little improvisation. Okay. And if you have to talk about, like, everyone has talked about product mindset or thinking. Okay. Because when you are trying to build any product, you need to have a product mindset and product thinking. That is what people say. But what does it really mean? It means you are bringing value for the customer and you are bringing value for the business, as someone rightly said before. Okay. There are two things to it. If you can think about value for the customer and the business combined, and then you try to build anything, that is where people say you have a product mindset. Product mindset does not mean that you are thinking uniquely and then you leave apart the business piece. Okay. So the product mindset and the thinking starts with the customer value and then the business. Okay. It's always and. It can't be or. Okay. So next time if someone says, I have a product thinking, then ask me, like, what is a real example of it? Like, how do you know that you're thinking, like, your product, you have a product thinking? Okay. So most of the times when I take interviews, I ask people, okay, any product questions, I ask them, and then at last I keep asking, what more you'll think about. And when they say something related to the business, that's where I feel that I'm fulfilled. That's where I wanted to want you to answer. So there is a classic example which I ask most of the folks, where it's also my side project, where I ask, let's say if you have 1000 credit cards with you and you have to make a platform where uh, what do you say, you suggest top 3 credit cards to any consumer who is coming onto your platform, and they say, we'll do this, we'll try to take the inputs, we'll try to understand, we'll put some algorithm, we'll try to categorize all the credit cards and basis everything, all the inputs, we'll try to somehow get those top 3 credit cards from that list. But I say, let's say you must have scored some credit cards, right, out of 1000 credit cards, but now you have top 10 credit cards with you, very identical, similar score. What you do next? He says, like, okay, no, I will ask for more inputs and XYZ. No, I said, like, you whatever you had to ask, you asked. What more you can do is, you can always think about business. Out of all these 10 credit cards, who is going to give you more business? And that is where that product mindset comes into the play. Because there is no way you can always satisfy the entire algorithm, right, based on the user inputs. There are going to be similar outputs from that particular algorithm. So that is where the product mindset comes into the play. Okay. And now what we are trying to do is, based on these things which we tried to discuss around AB, assumptions, customer journey mapping, impact mapping, JTBD framework, all these frameworks are there to understand customers' needs. Okay. And this customer needs Okay. So this would be customer needs, desire, pain points. Okay. That is what customer would need. They might be, you know, facing some pain points, and they might have some desirable needs also. Like they might be desiring to have. Like needs are just, basic things. I just want to go from point A to point B. Desire are when I go from point A to point B. If I book a Uber, I should get a Mercedes, right? And then my pain points would be, if I have to go from point A to B, I'm not able to get any cab for itself, and then I try to build an Uber. So there will be little things. Every user will try to tell you different stories, and when you try to figure out these three things based on whatever we talked above, okay, the customer journey mapping, JTBD, you try to do the interviews, you try to do the qualitative quantitative research. Basis that, you try to figure out these three pointers for that matter. Once you know what you want to build for, that is we called as opportunity. Pardon my handwriting. So we consider these needs, desire, and pain points as the opportunity for any product. This is an opportunity for you. Like startups say, okay, I think Blinkit has an opportunity to become a next quick commerce wherein they can replace Flipkart. So it's an opportunity for delivering an iPhone in the next 10 minutes, right? It's an opportunity because that is what customer needs. Maybe I don't think it is a need, but it is a desire. But desire now, it has become so normal that it looks like a need. Like people need it. It has become so much common, right? Earlier, for me to get a phone was, let's say, a 5 to 7 days delivery. Now I get on the next day or the same day delivery. Those were my pain points which were solved. Those were my desires which I wanted to have in 10 minutes are solved by the quick commerce. Those were the needs by the customer which are now solved. But these were considered as opportunities, and then only it was solved for them. It was not like why not we give iPhones in 10 minutes. It was not thought like that, because you will always have limited resources, money. If you have limited resources and if you have limited money, you can't always keep experimenting. Okay? If you keep doing the waste experiments, you'll be wasting on the resources, you'll be wasting on the opportunities, of course, and you'll be wasting your money as well. So these are the little things which you should keep in mind while you are trying to build any product. And there is a rule which most of us see is your product should be desirable, okay? It should be feasible, it should be usable, it should be viable, and it should be ethical. A lot of people have spoken about it in theory, like it is desirable, it is feasible to use, it is viable to make, it is easy to use, it has to be usable, right? And it should be feasible for anyone to actually take actions on it. And of course it has to be ethical. Most of the people don't talk about ethics. Okay, so these are the major 5 pillars, value system, I call it, when you're trying to build any product. It has to be desirable, feasible, usable, viable, ethical. You can try to read around this. Okay, and once you know what these values are, once you know what people want and what they want, and that is what we call it as desired outcome. Okay, now there is a theory which works for.
Can I
Yes,
can I add just one line?
sure, Shilpi.
See, many times I've seen, right, especially with like banking, insurance, and many industries, like if there we have planned the product, right,
Yeah,
but if some regulatory change comes up.
yeah,
So, for example, if somebody is working on product X for insurance, okay,
okay.
now they know that suddenly in the next 3 months, right, they have to introduce certain regulatory changes.
Hmm.
So that becomes the priority,
Yeah,
and the other features take a backseat.
correct. So, okay, so you wanted to add to it, saying that you will not always build what customers wants, but you will always focus on the compliances piece, right?
In case something turns up like that. I
Of
mean,
course.
it's not like an everyday thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I think RBI comes up with every circular.
Yeah.
So, see, I look after the KYC pieces, and now we know that
Okay.
in the upcoming months, the video KYC is
Hmm.
going to be a game changer, and everyone has to do a video KYC for that matter,
Uh,
even if you are doing a small lending, right?
hmm.
But there is no standard guidelines to how to really do a video KYC. People are trying to
Yeah.
use some hacks around it also, right? So so RBI, of course, will come up with few compliances, and there will be two compliances. There will be an external compliance and there will be an internal compliance. There are two compliances to it, and I have to look after the both. So let's say for internal compliance, there are a lot of consents which you might see on a lot of applications saying that we'll be using your apps, you'll be using your SMSs, XYZ. These are the internal compliances which says that if someone comes and files a case against us, we said you have given us the consent, and that is what the internal consents would look like, saying that we use it for proper purposes. And along with these consents, always uh, these are the internal compliances, right? And once you start taking these consents, you try to build products on it. Basically, the more, if you have to talk about like financial products, mostly are built on the data and the consents taken from the consumers. But if you talk about the external, they would say that you can't take Aadhaar card of a customer which is not masked. You can't take it. Only last four digits should be visible to any financial company or a startup, right? So this is a compliance. So companies who were just taking pictures of Aadhaar and PAN, now they can't do it. Now they have to use other services, okay, like CKYC or eKYC, DigiLocker. You must have heard about it, right? Now you start using these products wherein you get masked data. Okay, so this is how compliances now turn up your products. And again, mostly the financial insurances or any banking products would have more impact on the compliance and the internal pieces, right? Internal concerns. Cool. Coming back to, so now we are talking about desired outcomes is what we try to understand, and there is something called as opportunity solution tree. Have you guys heard of it? It's just like any other framework which you use, and I wanted to talk more about it because people call it as modern product discovery method. Okay, what it says is you will always have to start from a desired outcome. It could be anything. It could be a business outcome, which again you'll have to convert it into uh, a product outcome. Okay, let's say your desired outcome is more people should share content on Instagram. Okay, so this is what the desired outcome looks like. This is what we want to achieve. Maybe basis this, there will be some X business outcome which will be fulfilled. Okay, but for us, this is the product outcome which we are trying to build. Okay, now the opportunity solution tree looks like whenever you say that I want to build this, there will be a lot of opportunities which will be created. Let's say for now you figured out there are three opportunities: opportunity one, two, three. One thing, so opportunity would be, what if I combine WhatsApp, and if someone shares any story or any status on WhatsApp, that is shareable on Instagram also, to Instagram people or maybe Instagram follower. Maybe I can post the WhatsApp status now on Instagram. Just like if you see now Instagram stories can be shared on Facebook, what if it could also be shared on WhatsApp? So that WhatsApp, my contacts can reshare it with some other contacts. It could be anything, right? But our desired outcome is more people should share the content on Instagram, or for that matter, if I say across all the meta platforms. Okay, so there will be different opportunities. What if I give options to put a collage? What if I give them option to add music to a collage, or make a reel, put post photos, add stories? These are all platforms. These are all opportunities. Okay. Now every opportunity might also bring in some 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2 opportunities. There will be multiple opportunities lying under that. Okay, what if there is one story which you can put only for 30 seconds and one story for 2 minutes? I don't know, one reel for 90 seconds or 30 seconds. There could be different opportunities for that matter, which you want to build on. And every opportunity will have solutions around it. This will have some solutions, this will have some solutions. And it's not always there has to be a tree. After this opportunity, I can also start dropping on some solutions. Okay, so there are solutions which people will be discussing, your teams will be discussing, that you want, let's try to build onto this, and that will be again build on some assumptions, build on some hypothetical theory, or maybe some data or facts. It could be anything, but you are trying to build some solutions which will satisfy this particular desired outcome. Now once you know that these are the solutions, do you go and directly do it? Do you go and directly build it? You say I will build it, but what if based on this solution I try to run an experiment? I want to run 3 experiments. Okay, I want to, let's say it's a mobile application, I want to show some card to folks, and I also want to show these 2 cards, and I also want to show another third card, and I make 3 experiments. What if I just show this one? What if I just show this 2? What if I show all these 3, and see if I can get the desired outcome or not? So there will be experiments which you will be doing based on the opportunities, based on the solutions, and on every solution you can run all these experiments. And these experiments is what we eventually call it as ABs, when we try to figure out which is actually working. If I have to tell you one example for this, which I have done, so what we try to do is we have, let's say, a Gmail login. Okay, and we, let's say, usually see 70% success ratio. So there is a phone number plus OTP which people do, and then there is Gmail, which is the next step. And we have to do a Google authentication for every customer. Okay, because it is very easy, like everyone has a Gmail account logged into their phones, and it becomes very easy. But then why 30% people are actually dropping off? Is that the opportunity for me to figure out and maybe work towards getting that desired outcome fulfilled? How do I solve for this 30% people? Then we were trying to do some user research and trying to figure out, and everyone was like, what if I want to add Yahoo? Can you give me an option to that? What if there are G1, G2, G3, 3 email IDs, but only G1 is actually linked onto my Android phone, but G2 and G3 are not? What if you give me an option to add G2 and give me an OTP verification on my email? This way also I can log in. So these are the opportunities which opens up when you try to look at the data very closely. Okay, and these are the opportunities which I wanted to work on. Then what we did, we said, okay, let's see what if the assumptions and what customers are actually saying is true. Then what we did, we gave the GAuth option to the customer, and we say if you need help, you can verify with email also, just an hyperlink there. And for second set of customers, we said, okay, you have GAuth, and in the big box also we say type email. This way it is very prominent for anyone to see it, because sometimes visibility also matters. So when we ran both of these experiments, and there was another third one which we only kept as it was, like we just gave GAuth as an option. What do you think? What would have been the results? Anyone? Any guesses? Any cases?
More signups maybe.
More sign-offs? Okay. What else? Okay, that is one. Like not what else, but okay. More answers I want. So do you mean one and two worked for us, or either let's vote for which one would work for us? Type it in the box maybe. Shaksham says easy to use. Third, okay. Come on, guys. It's an interactive session. Number of clicks must be less. Okay. So first and second failed for us, and the reason was not like why we wanted, like user wanted to have those options, right? And we tried to build around it because we don't want to miss anyone. For that matter, we want everyone to, we wanted to become inclusive. But then we figured out that the third one has a better conversion. For that matter, we don't know the reason, because we were thinking, based on the user research, we saw that more people wanted to do an OTP or some alternative option, but that did not work, right? So one thing which we learned is, whatever your customer says, whatever the pain points are, you can build products, you can build features, but that will not give you desired outcome every single time, and that's where you have to keep experimenting. So I'm still experimenting on these pages, that I can't tell, but I'm still experimenting, and we are hoping that it will now improve. The reason is, more you experiment, more you fail, and quicker you fail, quicker you learn about your consumers. Okay. And while you are experimenting, you will have hundreds of ideas, and if you can kill the, what do you say, the irrelevant ideas, and try to only keep the best ones, you iterate fast and better. Okay. So the good product manager, that is what people say, they kill most of their ideas thinking about it, that this will not work, I don't think this will work, I don't think this will work, maybe I don't think this will work, I guess this will work, let's try to put this into an experiment. Okay. Because as we talked, we have limited resources, maybe time and money. Okay. So we can't experiment everything, and there are plenty of examples wherein I have done a lot of EBs, and I can give hundreds of examples around which worked, which did not work, even when we thought it would work, right? So Saksham is telling, I tell you one story related to it. In my college, VP of some company came and said that he was in migrant. He was the one of who gave the flag solution as 3 clicks initially. Then Bill Gates said, I want 1 click, because consumer doesn't has time, and quick the call to action, quick the adoption happen, and basically narrow. Yeah, of course. And there is again a story around it. I think I was watching another reel. Uh, it was about Amazon, I guess. There are a lot of people, traffic coming onto Amazon, but only few were actually making the purchases. Can you tell me the reason? And it is related to onboarding. Come on, guys, open up. Mike.
Hi,
Yes, yes, yes.
it's Hasith. Is it because they could not sign up successfully, so they could not even get into the product and experience it?
Exactly. So the sign-ups, this onboarding piece, it is so important because it is your top of the funnel. Okay. Lesser you ask, better it is. And that's where continue as guest came into the play, and because of this, Amazon or any X company, whosoever experimented this, uh, got profit of millions because of this, because there were more people coming onto it, they were adding to cart, they were experiencing the product, and basis that at the end of it they were trying to create an account. Okay, so you don't always need phone number OTP verification or email OTP verification at the start of it, right? So even if you now look at most of the Instagram pages, if you try to buy anything, they will let you add everything, and only at the end of it they will ask you to add name, email ID. Even they will not ask you to verify, because they say that if you are going to add, like ordering something, and if you are going to pay, you will eventually add the correct details, because it is not our problem, because it's your money. So they will not even authenticate your email IDs, and that is the new modern way to also do checkouts, if you have to consider. Okay, and the one thing I like about thinking about products is you don't have to learn everything. You just question why they must be doing this, and you will learn product management every single day. You learn about products. This is not I go anywhere and read. This is what I experienced. So more products you use, more you talk to your friends or near people around. What do you think about Swiggy? What do you think about the platform charges they are increasing? Trying to understand what consumers are thinking, because these apps are used by millions around you. And if you try to understand how these products are built for millions, right? Basis those simple thinking, simple thought process, you know you might learn something new. That is what I wanted to say. So festival fees, yeah, of course. Like, again, so for the festivals, if you go onto our application, which is Olive, you'll find a festival, like, because a lot of apps are now doing festival themes. Now we have also started doing festival themes on our home screen, but of course we don't charge on festivals. That is not our business model. But I don't know if they will be using it at the right place, then it is good. Disrupt their market, I think you will be spending more money to disrupt, like even on marketing, I guess. It's pretty tough as of now, because there is a lot of money involved. So any big company can of course do it. Maybe Geo would do it, I guess, in coming time. Geo would do it for sure. They will disrupt mostly every industry, but this is one I think they would do it. Even if you look at Blue Smart, they were very cheap at first. They were very cheap, but now it is very difficult for you to also book an electric cab. It's very difficult. It's expensive than an Uber. So for me, Blue Smart, the use case, it's they only offer electric cabs, and you can schedule them before time. And nowadays, I think you can book then and there also. So for me in Bangalore, because I don't get cabs very easily, so what I do, I just book them beforehand, so that at least I get my cab on time, even if I have to spend a little extra, and that extra would be always less than what I would be paying for Uber, right? Yeah. So coming back to what the opportunity tree looks like, you will be experimenting a lot, right? And basis your outcomes on those experiments, then you will try to put that into your feature. You'll be eliminating few experiments which did not work, and which worked, that becomes a part of your the long term product, right? And it always starts with outcome, as we have seen. Okay, then we figure out the opportunities, and then we discover solutions. 3-step process: opportunity, solution, tree. So every time you think of any product, like, and if you have to figure out the opportunities, you try to say what I want to achieve, what is that outcome which I want, and then how I would do it, why I would do it, and XYZ. Other frameworks will come into the play. Basis that I know, are we trying to really solve that problem? Is it linked to our business outcomes? Whatever I'm trying to build, is it usable, feasible, viable, ethical, everything around it, right? Basis that, okay, I think there will be plenty solutions, but let me put top three. Okay. Basis this top three, I think there will be three more solutions for everyone, right? So every solution will have three solutions, then it becomes like 9 experiments for me. It's not a standard rule, I'm just putting it hypothetically. And out of this 9, maybe 2 works, and then I run an AB for this 2 for a longer, and then I just eliminate and come down to 1. Okay. And that's how you discover product opportunities, you discover product. It's not, okay, this is what we think, this is what customer said, and let's build it. You hyper iterate, you improvise, you improve, and then keep doing it. It's not a single day job. Okay. And that's what, if you think about, I think I've given an example for this already. Yeah. So when you try to build these products, you'll always need folks in your team, and those people will always be you as a PM, design lead, and tech lead, and that is what they called as a trio. Okay. So product manager has to work with design, work with tech, design and tech, and figure out what is the best for your product. Okay. Then only it gets into your building stage. You can't just put everything down into the development. You go through the design process. Okay. And that is where you work with designers. Okay. So let's say you have a lot of experiments to work on. Let's say I said 9 experiments, and you try to create a design or a prototype which you thought, based on all these experiments, you try to create a prototype. And while doing a prototype and sitting out with the tech or the design team or with QAs and everyone all the stakeholders, whosoever is involved, they said, I think 9 minus 3, only 6 ideas or prototypes, I guess, would work. Okay. Maybe take this 6 to your customers and see what they say. And they might say, I think 6 minus 3, only 3 are the best. 3 gets the most vote. Now you put these 3 into experiment, actually. And that's why, even if you create solutions and experiments, everything will not go into the development. As I said, you will have limited resources, time and money. You will always try to churn them out with the help of the design team. Let's say even for these 3, you will have to figure out which gives you the highest impact for product and for business, or maybe both at that point of time, whatever the desired outcome is. And you also you ask your techie which will take the longest time, right? If it is going to take long for you to actually build, then you will not be able to do an hyper experimentation, right? So maybe 3 minus 1, I will be only doing 2 experiments at that point of time. And this is how you deal with teams when you are building products. Okay. And now you soon realize that it is just not about figuring out what you want to build, it is also figuring out the other stuff. Okay. So product discovery is just not limited to the discovery piece. It is more than that, because you have to ship it as well, right? You have to build it. So when we started, we talked about product discovery, and there was product delivery. So whatever you discover, it has to be delivered. Then it has to be, with the consumers, with the QAs, everyone will be testing it out, user will be testing it out, and it's a continuous process. Like whatever feedbacks are there, then those becomes your opportunities. Okay. So it has to be a continuous process. Okay. And where people say at least weekly once or twice, you should be talking to your customers for anything. Like if you ask them what are the pain points, any problems they are facing, anything they want, and try to just listen them out, right? Best part about me is, like, I work with support, marketing, growth, and the product team. I also look for the product for this verticals, right? Whatever they need, I help them enable with product. Okay, so I get the customer pain points every single day. From the marketing perspective, whatever we nudge or push to the consumers, how they are perceiving, again customers. For growth, it is mostly business. Okay, how business is looking at their customers, so that of course the business should grow, but growth also helps product grow, because growth would say, I think for the business we should do some product experimentation, we should bring in something new for our customers, of course, and that evolves your product. So growth and product are closely linked, and now you will see a lot of companies are hiring product growth managers. Okay, their role would be to understand business, with that business how, like, how can you, let's say, reduce customer acquisition cost, increase the lifetime value, all these matrices, and basis your customer understanding and business understanding, how can you work with product to, of course, get more influx of the customers, and at the bottom of the funnel, at the, like, there should be what do you say, less people churning out of the funnel and more conversion should be happening. So that is what growth works on, and that's how growth product teams are built nowadays, because now the product roles are not just product, they have to think about businesses, and that's where it works. And if you as a product manager are closely linked with support, you tend to get a lot of real life problems on a live basis, to know, mostly for B2C products. But for B2B products, you'll have to be aligned with folks, your vendors, your third party consumers, and try to see on a weekly level, you have to check in with them. And if you have to talk about the support, the key account managers, scam, these people are the best ones which will help you out to understand in the B2B space what your consumers needs. Okay, and if you have to talk about marketing, then again it's a complete different picture, what channels you push in, what branding you do, what sort of messaging you do, like how many times you nudge your customers, basis that how the customer is, you know getting pushed into the funnel, and maybe are they feeling irritated, everything, like there are a lot of emotions in marketing. Okay, how they look at your product or a brand. Okay, and of course that impacts our business as well. Okay, and it could be anything. For example, lot of companies, like if you talk about Amir Khan, okay, and when Snapdeal was there, so some controversy happened, and Snapdeal was bashed because Amir Khan was their brand ambassador. Okay, but it has nothing to do with the product, but marketing, branding, it has to do something with the product, and eventually the product metrics went down, right? So this is how these 3 4 things are interlinked, even if you don't feel it, and that's where the product management stands. Cool, guys. I think this is what I had to tell. Of course, you can always go and try to read around product discovery, different frameworks, JTBD framework, customer journey mapping, everything around it, right? This will tell you more onto the user research parts, qualitative, quantitative research, how you do it, and how do you synthesize that data, how you look at the already available data, competitive analysis, how you bring in and try to understand different application from competitors, right? We never thought Swiggy would bring in those bulk orders thing, but Zomato brought in, they also brought in. So how these competitors are actually competing and trying to figure out a product market fit for different consumer needs, right? So there is a lot to talk about it, but I think I will try to keep this at this point of time and try to understand what you guys have to say.